When we spell something, the spelling can get messy. This is because not all letters always match the sound that represents them. Like the OUGH letters, the pronunciation is different in the words tough, cuff, though, throw, bow, and broad. In this case, we are going to talk about various ways in invalidating the same spelling or which sound is present in different languages, which is commonly referred to as how the sounds work of the language. The study of speech sounds is called phonetics, and the writing system that linguists use to write very precious pronunciations is called International Phonetic Alphabet. To understand the sounds of speech, first we need to understand how the human body produces them. We start with the lungs, which push air upward through the vocal cords. The vocal cords are thin membranes that stick to your throat and vibrate to make sounds. Then the pathway that travels from the lungs to the lips is known as the voice channel. We can reshape any part of the vocal channel to create or articulate a different sound. Okay, language can be divided into two kinds, namely spoken language and sign language. For spoken language, the tongue, mouth, and the rest of the vocal tract are articulators, the parts of the body that move to make language. And then for the sign language, the articulators are the hands, face, and other visible parts of the body. There are 5 main features of language articulation. The first one is hand shape, such as the difference between the ASL marks for red and sweet. The second one is palm orientation, such as the difference between balance with palms down and maybe with palms facing up. The third one is movement, such as moving in a circle for always or a line for scolding. And the fourth one is location, such as mom on the chin or dad on the forehead. And the last one is expressions, also called non-manual marks, like forward brows to make something a yes or no question. Well, to explore how linguists write spoken language, let's start with some known consonant sounds. But before we continue, do you know what a consonant is? Consonants are speech sounds made by closing the vowel channels in a certain way, whereas vowels are made by making them in different from but left open. Some of the most common sounds in languages are around the world are p, t, and k. Let's pay attention. P, t, and k. All of these sounds require that you close part of the vocal tract to stop the air before you realize it, which is why they are known as stopping and police. These 3 sounds are made at 3 different places in the voice channel, which linguists call the place of articulation. These places have names, namely, the first one is bilabial sound, made by joining the lips together as pronounced p. The second one is alveolar sound, made by pressing the front of the tongue against the hard back just behind your teeth, like the pronunciation of t. And the last one is velar sound, made by pressing the back of the tongue against the soft part of the roof of your mouth, like the pronunciation of k. Then there are sounds that involve air flowing outward, causing friction in the mouth, namely f and s. Types this sound is fricative. For the name please, there are the first one is labiodental sound, made using the lower lip and upper teeth, namely in the pronunciation of f. The second one is s and t, have the same place of articulation, but the way of articulation is different because t is plosive and s is fricative. The hum of your vocal cords is known as the voice. S is a voiceless sound and z is a voice sound. This is because s, your vocal cords aren't vibrating, while for z, they are. To continue touring our vocal tracts, another way of articulation is the nasal sound. We make it by closing the mouth but opening the nasal passages using the volume. In English, there is m, which corresponds to our bilabial p and b. There is also n, which corresponds to our alveolar t and d. In addition, there is also a nasal sound at the end of sing and in the middle of hunger, which goes along with velars k and k. The ng sound is usually written with n and g, but it is not very useful for phonetics because some ng words such as hunger don't have a ng sound. To make it easier for us to learn sounds, you can learn through the International Phonetic Alphabet because the IPA chart is somewhat similar to the periodic table where the structure tells us a lot about the properties of each sound. Like the first one, blank white boxes are sounds that may be present but haven't been found in a known language. The second one is the shaded gray box is a sound that, in our opinion, the human body cannot make. There are also two other categories of consonants that don't fit into the consonant table as is their general structure. The first one is the sound in which the articulators touch in two places. It's called the articulate consonant. For example, W involves not only pushing the lips but also narrowing the volume towards the back of your mouth. The second one is consonants that aren't made with air flowing out of the mouth or pulmonary airflow, as we know as non-pulmonary consonants. This category includes sounds in which air is sucked into the voice tract, or implosive consonants, and voices in which the glottis closes and air is pushed out from the top of the voice channel, known as the ejective. The last group of non-pulmonary consonants is the click. Some languages, such as Zulu, Xhosa, Khoisan, include a click sound in the standard consonant set used to make words, and that's how linguists represent all consonants.